Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to be here in Portland to bring you the poetry of Rozz Williams. Thank you guys so much for coming out early to listen to me talk. I really appreciate it. Over the course of the night, you're going to hear some poems that you'll learn where some of your favorite Rozz lyrics came from, because a lot of his lyrics from Christian Death, Shadow Project, or whatever project you happen to like by him, they all originate from his poems, because he was someone who considered himself a poet even above being a musician. So for the sake of time, I do want to kind of go through these kind of back to back. I'll say a few words here and there, but I do want to save some time for a Q&A at the end. So I'm going to start off with the title piece, which ended up on the album Catastrophe Ballet, and it became a song called Electra Descending. And what about the bells? Like the moon, she's holding hands with age. Vanity cracked in her arms, China doll. Who can tell her the lies that she wants to hear? Who can carry on? Halfway there, she comes to steal my meaning. She comes to steal the bitter taste. We're on this floor, we dream, and in these dreams, we drown. The bed travels farther to set our hands free. Left on the edge, I slept a lot in Paris, then again on land. But now I sleep on ladders, I'm so afraid to fall. And what about the bells? This next one is also from Catastrophe Ballet. You may know it under a title, This Glass House, but the title of the poem is called Heat. Once in a lifetime, once every moment, he stood under doorways. He stood over there. His point of view was fever on a thread of light. My point of view was shaken. He took my mind. All clocks misunderstood him. Illusions shattered slightly. My cigarette was taken slowly. The simple walk that fooled him built language high. He kept our mouths shut, tight, and peeled. Somewhere in hunger, he slept aloud. I asked of dream starvation. He gave me his mind. We will not stay forever. We will not stay forever. His dreams dream dreams for me. It's 3 inches between here and there. He left my body breaking backs. His heat betrays me, keeping distance between cures. He lays his head dumb on my mouth. Experiments. He's breathing. Held out on land. Proof that I am dreaming. His bed and I need dreaming. Left in the dark, we breathe. These covers keep us warm. The day will disappear. Talk just can't last forever in this room. Somewhere in hunger, we slept aloud. Brought out of dream starvation. He stayed behind. I will not stay forever. I will not stay forever. His dreams dream dreams of me. He's cruel, and so am I. I will drift away. I will say nothing as I die. Just where I want to be with my hands missing. Now I'm left on my own and I can see forever. Plan out another lifetime. Remember murder. Know what it means to grow old, and know what it means to change the color of your skin. My dreams sleep out loud. Thank you, both of you. So this next one, as far as I'm aware, has never been performed publicly, so you guys are in for a real treat tonight, especially for you guys, because I love you so much. This one's untitled. There's actually a lot of them in the book that are untitled, but... A strong symbol with a bad name. Time to go over the cliff. So exhausted, calling out to you. The image in the mirror, burning in flames. I am plagued with pain, and shall sacrifice it all. My mouth is stuffed with cords. and my merriment is grief. The most beautiful flower of the field, a pale, milky voice of everlasting regret. It is time to take leave of our glorious memories, like noxious spirits, to tear away from the mass, a similar carcass, and shut our eyes, gathering splinters for the fire. And you guys are great, thank you so much. This next one is called Desperate Ritual. Desperate ritual, careless words, death must be a whisper away. Understanding sickness, we chose a method of attack by seduction. Those seduced are surely placid souls, our own shadows. By definition, I could explain my loss as a loss of expression. 7 years bad luck, each time I pass the mirror. I fear the man behind the mask. Careless ritual, desperate words, death is but a whisper away. So if any of you are fans of Rozz's spoken word albums, anybody here know an album called Every King a Bastard Son? Okay, one person. Very good. Thank you. Yep. Then you might recognize this one. This one is called Sawdust. He had changed his teeth, lips off, spat on the floor, arranged features into a bored mask, strands of hair waving in preservative, massive front doors always open, knee-deep in iris and blood red, the fold of his eyes. He awoke that night, crying out, knowing his life was in danger. Wild-eyed, his face filled with frenzy. What is it like to be dead? Fugitive tremors ran through his limbs, bloated face and mouthpiece. Torso shrank, twisting. He draws a breath, voices his thought, low as a sea urchin, a near-empty terminal, devoid of life. Voice, oddly disjointed, invokes the unknown men. Un grattacielo tenuto su alle base, da una corona di baionette. Black, an endless pacing, a little cry of pain. Was he born a widow, walking with us now? Disemboweled remains of jackal and of child, a mind hung in echo. Wide eyes saw dust. So this next one I have to say, when the book came out last year, we had a book launch in Greece. Rozz's friend and collaborator, Farren read this poem. I don't know how many of you are aware, but Ace passed away fairly unexpectedly a few months ago. So I want to pay tribute to both Rozz and Ace with this piece. This one's also an untitled one. Silently, I rest a glance upon your furrowed brow, and I know somehow that this will take us where we need to go. Past alleyways and lonely roads that seem to overflow with venom rich in fury. Broken hearts that bleed with seeds of pain that we've already sown. And I'm but a player who's been dealt a vicious hand. All the cards are marked in favor of some other fortunate man. I've been playing the same old game, for I don't know how long. But if you would come and save me, I could write another song. So speaking of writing songs, this is another one off of one of Rozz's albums. This one comes off an album he did called The Horse's Mouth. And my friend Ryan Wildstar, who I did the book with, he and Rozz wrote this in their living room on an old typewriter. This one is called Hemispheric Energy, and it turned into a track called Raped. Hemispheric energy, channeling out from 1,000 different directions. The feeling cannot be held down long enough to rape, but when felt, it may burrow through your skeleton instantaneously, all at once making you aware of the whirlpool of atoms keeping the world in motion. This world, tossed into monstrous chaotic waves, obscured by its own shadow. No light in these dimensions of phosphorus brain fear, no clear vision of hope or redemption. Eyes torn away by savage mental battles, a war carried on in endless blindness and cruelty. Weaklings cannot survive on a wave of nothing for long without some help. The rest is gesture, congested feeling, and an unwillingness to resist temptation. A man of many faces, this father of temptation, all at once guided and yet guarded. There has been no attempt to conceal the outcome. It shall be swift and ruthless, the pain sharp and full circle. The world in which we suffer now shall seem a pleasant memory. Recall, smashed from cages of non-being, where the lone lives inside a creature. Fold and regather your feathers. A ruffled plume does nothing for the soul of crying winters. Die, disengage, dissolve into the recesses from whence you spewed, and wrestle the golden monkey of the dawn. That was one I had to ask Ryan about because that's exclusive to this new edition of the book, which you can buy at my table right through that door, by the way, when I'm done. And he said that it's the only piece that Rozz ever did that he actually recorded his own rendition of. You can find it on Bandcamp. All you have to do is look up Ryan Wildstar. He was much more into the ethereal and cosmic side of things, but Rozz obviously looked at the darker side of it, so he cut it up and turned it into Raped. Whereas Ryan kept the original text as it appears in the book under the original title. And this next one is one that I actually wasn't going to read until probably about yesterday. This is a piece that Rozz wrote for Ryan. They had a very deep friendship and at times a very complicated relationship. And Ryan didn't know this piece existed until after Rozz passed away. He was going through his poetry and found it in a box. And so I reached out to him yesterday and said, hey, I really want to read this piece, but I don't feel that anyone aside from you should read it publicly. And he said, no, you read what you want to read, you have my blessing. So this one is called Velvet Touch for Ryan. In the shadow of sorrows, open thine eyes to me. I am not begging, merely asking. Dear brother, hello, it's me. I feel that we've been blinded. I feel that we've been sleeping. Dear brother, I lay weeping, torn from your velvet touch. In the shadow of sorrows, I cast a line to thee. Strong arm, can you take it? Take it to the place that we should be. Hello, it's me. Hello, it's me. In the shadow of sorrows, I shall greet thee, but at the the gate, I fear that I've misplaced the key. Still hoping someday to be free. I ask in passing, oh, I'm merely asking, when can we share a velvet touch? At the passing of shadows, our love will flower, grown up around us, between us, believe me, as rough as hearts that bleed. In the shadows we are born, alone, embrace this weathered tome. Dear brother, don't you know that it's just me? Open thine eyes and share a lasting touch. In the shadow of sorrows, I cast a line to thee. Strong arm, can you take it? Take it to the place that we should be. Hello, it's me. Hello, it's me. So this one is probably one of the funniest ones in the whole book. It's only one line, but I had to throw it in there because a lot of people have this idea that Rozz was such a serious person, but he had this phenomenal sense of humor. So it's only one line, it's weird, it's funny, and it makes absolutely no sense. It's called Beyond Eternal Edge of the Fish Gutters. Most times, I feel like a goat amongst hogs. I don't know what it means either. Well, it's funny because about a year ago when we were working on the book, I asked Ryan, well, what does it mean? And he goes, you're thinking way too far into it. It doesn't mean anything. But, on a more serious note, this may be the last one I read for you before we get to the Q&A and everything else for the evening. As some of you may know, the 26th anniversary of Rozz's passing is coming up in just a few days. So, I chose this one to close because it's actually the last piece in the book, because it's very autobiographical. It really illustrates Rozz's desire to move on to another plane of existence, the universe, the cosmos, or wherever he may be, that he was so uncomfortable in his own body. So the final poem of the evening is called Ether of Night. It seems as if I've been on this road for years. My guide, nearly 6 feet deep. But life goes on in present day disorder, delirium, and chronic lunacy. A man's body is tortured, and a theme of death emerges. Innate and predestined, disguised as a choice. This image, neither human nor inhuman, shaped like wax in a mold of what it is not, is that of someone I cannot identify because he is so close to me. I am motionless in this sequence, a silent witness to old dreams and dying hope. Sweet dreams will soon be mine, whispering my forgotten name in violet evening skies. No longer earthbound, but withdrawing, taking it all away, like breath across a lighted candle. And I ask myself, what holds me back? Eyes blazing with fierce, savage innocence. In other words, bloodlust. A pantomime of abject fear. And I think this only happens in dreams. There must be no outcry that might betray me. And I think, when I think of myself, that my thought seeks the ether of night, eternal shadows, far from this numb body and the price of its unfolding. And I think all I want is out of here. Thank you all so much. You've been a phenomenal audience. Thank you.